Hello again, guys. It's Greg Productions here, appearing once again back on the PSI channel with the first part of my I want to say 1963, but the date on the bottom of the vacuum, it says copyright 1963, so that doesn't necessarily mean 63. That could be anywhere from 63 onwards. So, knowing how this stuff probably works, this guy is probably from anywhere from 1965 to even 66. Possibly, I don't think it'd be any earlier than that. Or, sorry, any later than that. Just judging by the way this guy looks. And I'll just kind of show you briefly what he looks like. And there's the outer casing for it right there. I'll be cleaning this area up as soon as I get this vacuum out of here. But first, let's rebuild the motor. No, viewers, you didn't miss a whole bunch of videos. This vacuum was taken apart back in 2021, and I just have not had the time to get it back together. I didn't film it for whatever reason. I don't even entirely remember why. I don't think I felt like filming it, so I just didn't. But here we are on PSI, so, you know, I think it'd be time to film this. And I think this vacuum would be worth documenting. It's got some interesting little things that... I think at least some of you vacuum cleaner collectors would be interested in. I'm not a vacuum cleaner collector myself. I just have this one, and I just want it to be up and running again. And what went wrong with this thing to begin with is just no maintenance. Here's the bearing for the motor, and this thing didn't die or whatever, but I remember I just turning it on one day, and the thing just starts running. It just starts screaming. It's just metal on metal as the thing's on. Well, obviously, then you turn it off. So, yeah. I've just taken it apart. I haven't cleaned this thing. And I think that is what I am going to start doing. And I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, viewers. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. I come from a clock repairing world. And record player repairing world. The clock repairing would be the one I'm more experienced with. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly what the heck it is that I'm doing. And that may be a bad thing to say, but it is the truth. So I'm going to try my best. Feel free to add comments in the description. And yeah, so we're just going to reassemble this guy. And I'm just thinking this would be probably the best way to clean it. Just kind of wipe it down with paper towel. I don't know if there's any cleaning solution. I mean, I can't get all these windings wet. I think that'd be a huge mistake. This is also the shaft that the bearing went on originally. I had to actually buy a gear puller to get it off. I'm not having great success with gear pullers at the moment, but that's how it goes, I guess. More so in the clock repairing world, I'm not finding gear pullers that would really work for what I need them to work for. Darn shame, but at least we got one functioning gear puller here. And I accidentally drilled a hole in the or which side did I drill it into? I think it was this side that I accidentally drilled a hole into using the gear puller. You'll see what it looks like in a moment here. But yeah, it kind of clamped around. It kind of has one of those sharp points, and it drilled into this thing. And it clamps around. The bearing sits probably right about there. And oh boy, there's no well, because it needs to be farther down. But yeah, it kind of pulls up on this and gets it out of there. Some of you may be wondering why I'm working on this thing to begin with. Well, you know what? It's an old vacuum cleaner. It's fairly high quality from what I understand. I don't know how serviceable the thing is meant to be. I don't know if Electrolux expected you to be servicing it or not. But either way, you know, we're here now, and we're gonna do this. And you guys are getting a nice view of my containers and all that junk back there. I'll clear all that nonsense out of here. Okay. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay, I've cleaned that shaft to where I think it's probably good. And now we're going to get the back of the motor itself and try and clean the inside of this thing. Yes, this is an interesting device for sure. Look at all that dust and junk up in there. I don't know if that at the very end would need oil. I don't really know if it would or not. You know what? I'm going to take this guy outside and actually blow it out using a Works 20 volt blower. I think that'd be a smart idea. For the longest time, I wanted to test out this 20 volt Works blower on something like this where, you know, it's clogged full of dust and it's old. This blower itself is about a year or two old, and it was originally purchased for blowing snow, which wasn't my decision. It kind of works for that, but I want to see how well it'll work blowing something like this out. And what's kind of ironic here is that blower, you know, I mean, we're blowing out a vacuum cleaner motor, so is it really that different of a device? I mean, I'd say the Electrolux is probably built better, considering this thing is made of plastic and it's fairly light. Anyway, enough going yakety yak here. Let's see how it works. Whoa. Much happened there, but anyway. You know, looking at this thing, I think that actually did make some difference, but not that much. Oh well. You know, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. There's still, I mean, the best results here, I'm going in with a paper towel. That's about as good as it's getting right now. There's probably a better way to clean this, but I just don't. Oh shoot, yeah, I should get in there with some Q-tips and get some of that crop out of there. Let's just see here. Where? Oh yeah, look at all that stuff coming out of there. Whole layers of it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a yikes. That is a yikes right there, viewers. That needs to be dusted out. Well, actually, does it? I mean, I could technically leave it, but do I want to, you know? I mean, I'm here, you know, might as well get it out. All that stuff's falling out of there. Oh yeah, there's stuff coming out of here always. I was thinking, you know, of what kind of brought this project to a standstill. I was almost debating dunking this thing in some kind of cleaning solution, but this piece here looks like it's pressed in somehow. This wire piece, or the piece with the wire, sorry, I don't know what it's called. This whole section here, which would fare very badly if we decided to submerge that in any type of liquid. So, yeah, we've decided not to. And I don't think this takes any oil, does it? Why is it rusty? Why is it all oxidized? I don't know if it would not work if we left it like that. I'm not sure. Not sure, viewers. Genuinely have no idea. I think the one thing that concerns me is just all the dust that's coming off on my hand here. What is all this stuff? You know? How dirty is it? Yikes, these vacuums were used for all kinds of things, so I have no idea what's coming out of here. I'm gonna try and avoid touching that as much as I can. Maybe a wise idea. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a lot of going in there with Q-tips and just getting it out. Maybe using some spray line on this thing wouldn't be a bad idea. I still don't know if I'm supposed to oil that bearing up in there. I would think I would, but it doesn't look like it had oil on it originally. It just looks like there's dust in there. Interesting. This thing had oil on it somewhere, but I don't know if it was in there. Let's see, how does this nonsense fit together here again? Where's the bear? Where's the thing? Here we are. Yeah, that went in there somehow. I think there might have been oil in that hole, possibly. Those are the brushes were. And this area contacted with this area. And all this just stuck out. Look at the numbers on that. Wonder what that was for. Up to 7. Interesting. That is very interesting. So after more wiping the thing out later, we have our bearing here. Now, I believe this is where the problem originally came from, was this guy right here. And I actually tried to get this thing open because I knew nothing about bearings. And I kind of bent this up, sort of deal here. You'll have to see it. Yeah, this guy's got the little balls in there, and that's got that cover over it. And I could not find a bearing to replace this one, you know, because I had the option to just get a new bearing. And I admit, I didn't try all that hard, but when I did try, I could not find a replacement for this. So I'm just going to try and reuse this. I've cleaned it using an ultrasonic cleaner, using soap and water, and then drying it out with a hair dryer before it rusted. And I think the results came out pretty good. It's just the problem is that, you know, it's a bearing, right? So it's not really, you can't really get in there with any type of brush or anything like that and scrub all that dirt and stuff out. It's just kind of all gonna stay in there. So I can't really do that much about any of the remaining debris in there. Not that I think there's much in there, but, you know, it's not absolutely spotless, this thing. I think it'll work. I think we'll try and make it work, though. It seems to work fairly smooth, and that's with no grease in it. So, yeah, we're just going to try and pump this thing full of grease. And I don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to try it. I get it on and just get her full. Oops. You know what? I don't know if I can shoot. I might have to. My grease is kind of, you know, because this is actually designed for a grease gun. So I'm not sure if I can get my finger. Well, maybe I can get my finger in there and just do it like that. It's kind of a nasty way of doing it. But anyway, people used to do it like this all the time. So what the heck's the difference? Here, let's try and actually get my finger in there and try and pack this thing full of grease. It's synthetic, by the way, guys. All right. Nice synthetic grease packing here. It's going absolutely everywhere. Nice. I don't know if that was the way to go, but that's the way we went. Definitely kind of a messy job, I'll tell you that much. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I actually got any on there. Did any get in? Oh, some did. Okay, now it's actually rolling off the grease that this thing was supposed to have. And I'm wondering, you know, it kind of, maybe this, well, it's too late for this now, but I'm almost wondering if this thing was designed to run with oil instead of grease. I don't know, were vacuum cleaner bearings oil bearing vacuums? Did the bearings have oil? I have no idea, because I'm pretty confident at the moment that this is the only YouTube video on YouTube with a vacuum that is exactly like this one. And I don't see many Electrolux vacuum cleaner repair videos anyway. Like most of the vacuum cleaner guys, I'm pretty sure you guys don't really bother actually recording your repairs and then posting them to YouTube. I'm not necessarily calling you out for that. It's just kind of the way it is, though. But hey, that's why I'm here. This is why I have my clock repair channel. This is why I have my record player channel. Is because people don't bother to film this type of stuff. Even though if it were filmed and uploaded, it could be of use to a lot of people. Because I can only imagine there's so many of these that went in the trash that probably had the same problem. And meanwhile, all it needed was a rebuild. And I think that, should that be good? There's definitely grease in the bearing. That's for sure. Alright, well, we'll try that. And if it doesn't work, we'll go from there. Actually, I may have just found some evidence that this thing used to be packed with grease before, because these two caps here, these guys go right over top of the bearing on the shaft. There's one, I think, here and one here, and then the bearing sits in the middle somewhere. And those guys run the show. So I'm going to go clean these out using the soap and water method. Literally like washing the dishes. But of course, the key is, so they don't rust out, is using a hairdryer to dry them off. So viewers, that concludes part 1 of the Electrolux rebuild. Well, you're only seeing the building part, but I think you can probably get an idea of what's going on, and I'll talk more about disassembling it as I kind of build it, if that makes any sense, as I remember kind of what happened and how it all worked out. Anyways, yeah, 10-15 minutes, that's long enough. I will see you guys in part 2.